locked in here on 4th and 5. Welcome to the show. Once again, already got 123 people in. Usually it takes a little bit longer than that. People saw Sam Olajubutu and was thinking, hold on now, I know that guy. Tufo running around the field, one of the hardest hitting Razorback players of all time, joining us here in 4th and 5. And that's the goal. That's what we want to do here. We want to make sure that we do our part. We're going to find all your favorite former Razorbacks and see what they got going on, see if we can get them here to Oaklawn Sports for a chance to hang out, chit chat, and talk. Don't forget, if you want to be a part of the show, you can do that where you're watching from. Any question you have for Sam, you got to think this dude played in the heyday. Got a little Coach Nut. Yeah, you know a guy named Reggie Herron. You familiar with that dude, all right? So many type of memories to talk about. Any questions you have for Sam, especially with his play style. I bet you would be a penalty fiend today with how soft these. I'm just saying they ain't soft nowadays. A lot of rules to protect these players. Send in your questions in our chat, and we'll pull those up as we continue going. But here we are, 4th and 5 live at Mainline Oaklawn Sports Bar here, having a great time. We got the wise guys in the house. I heard we got a little player of the game we're going to give a shout out to here in a moment. And I always encourage people, as much as y'all like to sit at home and relax, I get it. I'm one of those people too. I really want people to come out here to be a part of the show, because after I wrap up with Sam, we're going to end the stream. Then we have a game night. People got a chance to win prizes up to $100, $50 or $75, $30. Did I say that right? Make sure I ain't lying to nobody over here. There we go. $150 and $30. All right. Awesome. Yeah, we'd be giving out money. I always tell people whoever wins, let's go over to the casino, put it on black, and see what we can do. You know what I mean? Right. Got to double up real quick. All right, Sam. Let's get to it. I appreciate you being here. And before we kind of get going in with everything, just got to ask, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome, man. I'm blessed.
I'm doing great, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I didn't get a chance to play with you. I just missed you.
Right.
But I always would hear a guy talk about you all the time. His name was Darren McFadden. And anytime somebody thought they were a hard hitter, he would always say, oh, they ain't got nothing on Butu. All right. And so that is who you are, and it's undersized, 5'8". Am I right about that?
Give me 5'9".
5'9.5". I'll give it to you. Right. But your play style, every Razorback fan knows who you are, because you were that guy who would come through the middle of the line and knock somebody's head off. I mean, is that something you've always been like, or did you have to adjust to get to the college level?
Well, I would say growing up in Georgia, man, we had to play hard down there. So they kind of raised me. Growing up in Georgia, kind of toned my game, kind of, shaped my game down, shaped my game down there. And getting to Arkansas, just kind of, I was kind of ready for the game when I came to Arkansas. Coming from LaGrange High School, it was a prominent high school. We, was really good. We won a state championship, so I was kind of ready for college ball when I got to college.
Yeah, so I had my wake up call with a guy named Malcolm Shepard. All right. You remember he had that one eye that went this way? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But dude was 100 miles an hour. Like, he was an offsides waiting to happen every single game. He was so quick twitch. So who was your wake up call when you got to college?
Cedric Cobbs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Cedric Cobbs, man. We had a run. Cedric Cobbs, everybody knows he's a running back, 6'2", maybe, 220, 230, 240, depending on what month it is. And he, runs a 4.4, 4.3.
Whew.
He's just so big. His arms, legs, everything was just so big and massive. It was a struggle trying to wrestle him and get him down.
Yeah, a real deal product out of where'd he go to school?
He was Little Rock, G.A. Fair.
It was fair. It was fair back in the day. I say Fair's not around no more. They don't know what to say. Yes, sir. All right, so we got viewers commenting right now. This is from Igor. He says, my favorite linebacker. All right. I know Igor's running around all day saying, here go Butu, out here ready to knock someone's head off. Once again, we got Sam coming in right now, leaving comments saying, digging the show, appreciate the love. But once again, so let's get into it. Freshman year, what was that like? Playing time, your red shirt, did you have to adjust to things? And when did it start, clicking for you of like, okay, I'm that dude, let's go ahead and get out here and get to work?
Yeah, I definitely had to adjust. Just coming from high school, the main thing for me, skill-wise, I was probably, maybe a little bit ready, but just the playbook, man.
Yeah.
The playbook from high school to college is so, the college playbook is so massive, man. So much things, so much stuff to learn. So I just had to adjust to that, learn the playbook, and once I adjusted to that, I think I was pretty good.
Yeah, it's crazy you talk about that, because I think for the most part, people just think people out there running around. All right,
right.
an athlete, you can get away with that in high school, just because you're better than everyone else. College, different ball game. Pro, completely different ball game. All right, so now you're adjusting. You're starting to learn the playbook. You're starting to get more reps, and you're starting to, kind of get this persona. At what point did you start realizing, okay, I'm one of the leaders on the defense?
Well, man, I was always humble, always working, kept my nose to the ground, just working, working, working. I think maybe my red shirt sophomore year, kind of got a bump up to start during the season, and and that kind of opened my eye, like I can play on this level, and coaches really, they respect me. They looking to me to play, look for me to make plays. So that's kind of where I kind of looked up. Now, leader on the defense, probably my junior year. I kind of worked when Reggie Herring came in. He was a hard nosed coach. Very strict. So he kind of made us work extra hard, and that helped out with me definitely a lot.
Now I got to ask you some questions about Reggie Herring. All right, because I was with him for 1 year.
Be careful what you ask about Reggie.
All right, and I know kids are watching. All right, so I will try to do this as PG as possible.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
but I don't know if y'all knew defensive coordinator Reggie Herring. He was not the, I would say, easiest guy to play for. Very aggressive, very colorful language. I mean, I've heard Coach Herring say some things I didn't even think was possible to put together in one sentence, but he found a way to make it work. Coach Petrino's pretty good at that too.
Right.
But I had him from 1 year, and so I'm there. This is after you're gone, and he wouldn't. He got on Freddie Fairchild all the time. He couldn't get Freddie to line up in the A gap. All right, and he would say, "Freddie, I don't know what I got to do to get you in the A gap." He would stop practice. And he says, "Everybody listen up. All right, Freddie, I'm just talking to you. Time out. All right. We talked about it in the meeting room, and now we're out in film doing walkthrough. And I just showed you the card. Only scout team shows card, but I showed you the card, Freddie, just in case. And I just need you to line up in the A gap. How about this, Freddie?" Coach Herring said this. He said, "Am I going to get in trouble for saying this?"
You may be.
Yeah. He said, "Freddie, if I put a gun to your mother's head, could I convince you to line up in the A gap?" Now you got to think I'm leaving out a lot of cuss words in here, but that was just Coach Reggie Herring. But as aggressive as he was, and don't let me get on him getting on Big Fred Bledsoe. All right, rest in peace. It was so sad when I heard that we lost Big Fred. But you talk about a guy who was all the talent in the world, but sometimes he takes a little bit to get moving. And Coach Herring always had a good time trying to get Freddie to line up in the right spot too. And the things he would compare things to. I'm just over there on the offensive side, like this is the funniest stuff I've ever heard.
Right.
Wouldn't be okay on the opposite
Right.
side. But playing for a guy like this who was so aggressive and his reputation is just like in your face, in your face. What did he do to be able to have that type of approach, but also get the respect from the players at the same time?
Well, I mean, that's what I needed. I needed a hard nosed guy just to get me straight on the field, off the field, just in every area. I need the hard nosed guy. He kind of just came in and he was hard nosed, but man, he was loving too. He that hard nose was kind of a front, a persona. You get with him one on one in the coach's room. He was loving. He was a real loving coach. I mean, I love that man to this day. He wasn't, he was hard nosed on the field. He was,
Yeah.
he'll say some stuff that we can't repeat right now, but he was definitely hard nosed on the field. But he was definitely a loving guy in the locker room and off the field. He wanted just to get everything right. He wanted you to play hard, and that was all I was all about.
How do you think he would fare with today's game? It's a little different ball game, and I kind of compare it to Coach Petrino's approach. Nowadays, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, not saying it's a good thing, but it's just different. But Coach Herring's approach probably would have ran a couple guys off back in the day, especially with the portal. You don't have to worry about sitting out 1 year out of conference, 2 years in conference. It's just you go and do your thing. And then I would love to see a conversation of, let's just say, Freddie walking into Coach Herring's office, say, "Coach, I really like what I got going on here. I've been balling out. I'm going to need about an extra $200,000, before I get back out on the field." I don't know if he could coach in that era,
Right,
So
right.
how do you think
Right.
a coach like him would? Do you think it's possible for somebody like him to transition and coach in today's college game?
I mean, yeah, but I think it'll definitely be tough. in today's game, I'm coaching high school football in Forest City High School right now. I mean, today's game, the kids are just different. I mean, kids are not going outside every day like we were when we were younger, playing street football,
Yep.
so kids are just different, man. Everything is online. So you got to kind of, you got to talk to the kids differently now. You got to kind of call it. And with NIL coming into play,
Mm-hmm.
you talk to a kid bad, he's got the right to go to another school and, get more money or the
Yeah.
same money. So that kind of dampens the situation as
Yeah,
well.
he said you're coaching now. This is a cool thing about what we're doing. We're letting you know what these guys are doing since they quit playing ball. You're still involved with football. You're coaching. How much of that style of coaching that you were under at the University of Arkansas you put into your game? Because as much as we talk about Reggie Herron and his approach, then you got Houston Nutt, who's on the opposite end, who's probably like, "Hey, Butu, let me talk to you for a second. Today, I'm gonna take the shoulder pads off. If you give me 10 periods,
Right,
Butu,
right.
all I need is 10. I'm gonna take them off at 11. I promise. Dino, watch the clock. Uh, what elements have you brought into your coaching style that you've learned from coaches that have had you?
Man, it's funny that you say that. Right now, I think I'm kind of maybe between a little bit of both. I mean, I'm gonna get on to you on the field. In high school, I got some of my players in class too. So
Mm.
in class, you can't be hard nosed all the time. So in class, I might joke around with you a little bit in class and stuff like that. But definitely on the field, it's gonna be hard nosed. It's gonna be no playing around, no joking around, on the field. But off the field, we can joke around. I'm gonna love on you.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to get to know you, trying to see what your life like.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of that on the field from back in your day. All right.
Awesome, awesome.
Now, I want to go ahead and say this before I pull this film up. Um, I think maybe YouTube brought down the quality of video. All right, because I'm gonna pull this up, and you're gonna think this is from like the 1960s. All right, cameras ain't what they used to be. This is before they started shooting in HD. All right, so you probably remember some of these plays. You're gonna see here in a second. It's gonna clear up for you just a little bit. But this is Butu on a kickoff coverage,
Okay,
and you're gonna see it light up here at the second. You take a look
okay.
at the screen, and at the last minute, he comes in. See that? Yeah, see that right there? That's Butu right there, laying people's. I mean, that's 100%. Special teams is for a different breed of player,
Right,
and you have to put your body on the line. There is no gathering your feet. You're a missile, all
right,
right, and it's gonna hurt,
right,
But you got to be the hammer or the nail.
right,
Often, most of the time, Butu was the hammer and not the nail. The
right.
nail is this guy carrying the football. But once again, you can just take a look coming downfield. I mean, that is a hit. See what people don't realize, they're looking at you celebrating, but look at my guy right here. It takes him a while to get up. All right. I mean, ooh, feeling that. Talk about the element of special teams. I mean, what year was this for you? Do you remember this play?
I think that was probably '03, maybe my red shirt freshman or sophomore year. I was trying to make my statement on the team, trying to make a name on the team, and that was my younger days, and I was on special teams, so I tell my players now, anywhere you at on the field, show up,
Yeah.
make people see you. So if you at defensive end, if you're at safety, if you're at linebacker, if you're on special teams, try to be seen on film, make a play so people can try to stand out on film.
But they say the more you can do is usually what they say.
Right.
All right, let's go and take a look at some more clips from Butu back in the day, just getting lit out there, loving. I mean, coming through the line of scrimmage. The thing about you too, as I was watching the film on you, your ability to not only get a tackle, time up blitzes. I mean, look at this poor little guard. He's not even out of his stance yet. All right, you got him trembling in his boots. Run through him doesn't stand a chance. But I noticed a lot. You always were able to get the ball out. Is that something you focused on? Because right here, he gets the hit, ball comes out, and there's a couple other plays here too. That's very difficult for a lot of players to do nowadays. Be as physical as you are, but also be aware of it's all about the ball.
Right, right, right. Well, me when I was tackling, I was kind of a little technical with it. Depending on what angle I was gonna take you on, and I was, if I had a chance to get the ball out, I was gonna try to get the ball out first. That was first thing first.
Okay.
Get the ball out.
Yeah.
Then make the tackle and make sure you don't miss the tackle. Make sure you secure the tackle. But
Yeah.
first thing first is try to get the ball back for our offense.
How important was it for you to establish something early of letting somebody know it's going to be a long day if you meet 2-4 in the hole?
Right, right. I mean, all game, you gotta, any way you can get an edge, you want to get that edge. So even if it's just taking on a fullback in the hole, and he's trying to come at you on ISO, you got to let him know, hey man, you're not gonna run ISO my way on me. That's 1-on-1 with the linebacker and the fullback in the hole. So
I'm glad you brought
you
that
just
up.
got to
All
let
right.
him know, man, it's not gonna happen.
The worst thing, and I hate when coaches would do this, inside run. We'd always have that at practice,
Right,
and it's just there is no pass, there is no nothing.
right.
It's just run, 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 run. And as far as the things that linebackers also need to be aware of, what's the action look like? All that's thrown out the window. These dudes coming 100 miles down hill. The advantage is for the defense on this play.
Right.
The worst thing that I could hear, because I was that H-back type, I would motion into the backfield,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like the Red Sea would part. And there would be a linebacker sitting in the middle, doesn't care about anything else but to take my head off. All right. But I tell myself, all right, let's get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of those, I'm seeing about 3 of everything.
Yeah.
And coach says, usually a defensive coach says, run it again on the ball. I mean, I feel like y'all did that on purpose. To say, just talk about inside run and the tone you have to get into and why practice like that matters.
Uh, Inside run. I mean, that's a very, very physical part of practice. So you just gotta be ready to take on
Awful.
blocks. You gotta get your mind right. Sometimes you gotta trick yourself out there on the field. You gotta talk to yourself. Hey, this guy's talking about my mom, talking about somebody. You gotta
Yeah.
trick yourself on the field. So whatever it takes to get yourself up, that's what you gotta do.
I used to tell myself if I just go 100% and get my head in there and get a concussion, I can probably sit out the next 2 days. You know what I mean? So didn't usually work out that way
That's
half the
another
time.
way to get
That's another way to get a little break, right?
Right.
Coach try to talk to you, you don't even know your name.
Right.
All right, let's keep the tape rolling. Let's take a look at this next play right here. Let's see. What do we got going on? Let's come on now. Talking a little stuff. Okay. This is another element. So as a lot of people know about your skills as far as laying the wood, but zone coverage, being able to read defense. This is against South Carolina, Arkansas up by 4 right here, 3rd and 5, big time down. Can you go back? I'm very curious. So I had Tyler Wilson here last year. What are you seeing and what are you thinking as a defensive player as this ball is being snapped? What's your keys? What are you looking for?
It's pass. So I think I was in the middle, so I'm always pushing towards
Yep.
3. So whichever number 3 goes, I'm pushing towards him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think somebody crossed my face right here and
Yep.
kind of
Yep. That
pushed me towards that side, and I was looking at
this guy right here.
Yeah, I was looking at the quarterback, and he was looking at me and looking at so.
Yeah.
I just kept dropping, and thinking he wasn't gonna throw it, and he kind of threw it right at me, and that receiver that caught me now,
Hold on. I was just about to. Oh, no.
he was the fastest guy in the SEC.
Butu. Let me tell you
And
something.
he was the fastest guy in the SEC. That's the only way he caught me. He
All
was a
right,
real
so
fast
you
receiver.
see this angle right here. As I need you to explain this to me because as I freeze frame it right here, this is pick 6.
Right. Should have been a pick
Let's
6.
go see how it plays out. Okay, a little stumble. Who was that receiver? Do you remember who that is?
Travis something Williamson. He was like one of the fastest guys at the SEC. Played a couple of years in the NFL.
Okay.
Right.
Dang, that would have been nice though, right?
Yeah, that would have been.
That's what you want right there. A little house call.
That would have been nice.
Okay, he was fast.
I should stiffed him up.
All right, let's keep it going. I know a lot of people remember this one. So this would have been coming up, I think, your senior year, right? Playing against Alabama. Once again, ball hawk. Ball comes out all the time, taking on blocks. Another play as we kind of keep going, moving along. Alabama. Time's it up. You remember that one, don't you?
Brody Crow.
You remember the name and everything, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Do you remember the play calls?
Yeah. That was a blitz. I was coming off the end. The end was crashing down to the A gap, and I was coming read. It was like a read blitz. I was coming off of his butt, and the Red Sea just opened up, and the quarterback back was turned.
So at what point are you
And,
like, ooh, here we go?
I tried to swipe for the ball, but I didn't get it. But I just wanted to put some pain, inflict a lot of pain on
Yes.
back there. You know, I
You
felt him kind of grunt when I tackled him. So
he felt that one. You talked about coming off that butt of the defensive end. That
yes,
was
sir.
Jamal Anderson. That's
Yes,
what that
sir.
looks like. What was it like playing with this guy? I mean, you talk about a dude who controls the line of scrimmage, gets so much attention. How huge is that for a linebacker to have a guy like that up front?
Man, he was major. Him, man, we had our defensive line was pretty stout.
K-Jack, Big O,
Jack, Big O,
Antoine on the other side. Oh, I remember.
absolutely.
Yes.
You know, Antoine, he didn't let he kept contained all the time, and Jamal kept contained. So, you know, that kept the guys inside.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to run outside, and you know, they didn't lose contain. So that helped out the middle linebackers then. You know, when the ends keeping contained, keeping everything boxed inside, you know, just having me run free, not have to run as far to get to a tackle.
You know, I'm curious. Is that maybe the best defensive line in Razorback history?
Yeah, yeah.
No question?
We got it. We got it. Well,
There has to be something in there, right?
Phylon.
Darius Phylon, yeah, Trey Flowers,
Flower.
and a guy who reminds me of you of Martrell Spate. You know, somebody who comes downhill
Spate,
ready to knock. You see, yeah.
I coached Spade in
Okay.
Junior college football.
Yeah.
He was awesome. He was awesome.
He was unreal. You
He
know,
was unreal.
and
He's one of the hardest working guys I ever been around.
yeah,
Hardest working guys I've been around. Shouts out to Spade.
yeah. Spate always a madman. He was a special teams demon as well.
Yeah.
You know, so but you may be on to something. Antoine Robinson, Jamal Anderson, Keith Jackson, Big O. Who else? You had Fred Bledsoe coming in the mix, Big Cord Gray coming in the mix, Ernest Mitchell coming in the mix. I mean, we could just keep naming the names off. Bringing back memories, ain't it? Yeah, everybody. That's fun times right there. All right, let's go ahead and keep this rolling, going down memory lane with Sam Olajubutu. Once again, if you have any questions, now it's the time to send those to the chat. We'll pull those up as the day goes on. All right, here we go. Oh, now this play right here, you already know what's going to happen, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
If this play happened in today's game, you'd probably be out of the game.
It wasn't a late hit.
It wasn't a late hit.
He was still inbound.
Butu. Hold on, wait. That boy.
He was a half a second too late.
Hold on. Let's run it real quick. So there was no flag thrown on this play.
Right,
and I'm glad it wasn't. You know, I don't mind this. You know, if he's going to do that, he better get out of bounds, not now, but right now. You know, turns up. Ooh.
He was a half a second too late getting out of bounds. And I was running full speed ahead down the sideline. I wasn't going to stop.
At all. This right here, I believe this was 2006, Alabama at Arkansas. I was at this game as a recruit. And anybody that was at that game, it was one of those, the whole crowd, ooh. All right. All right. Now, this is something I want to talk about. And I think this is good for a lot of people to understand mindset of great players. Okay, so I hate to do this to you, all right?
Talk to me.
I know you know this play. All right. Razorback fans, I apologize in advance. Gonna bring up some old wounds. SEC championship. About to get the, defense gets out there, does a great job, and then the infamous Reggie Fish muffed punt. Florida gets the ball. Florida goes on to win the SEC championship. This was the year that people thought, okay, Arkansas, this is it. This was a team that was led by Chris Leak, Tim Tebow in his freshman year. They had Percy Harvin, that whole crew. They go on, I think, to win the national championship that year. And Arkansas had them in this game. So when you get to this point, you got to think they're punting. Arkansas is doing their thing. As a defensive player, you're on the sideline right now saying, all right, here we go. All right, offenses, get to work. When this happens, how do you as a team captain and leader compose your team at this moment of saying, we got to put that behind us. We got to move forward because this crushed every Arkansas fan's heart. You can't let that happen to the football team. What was the conversations like on the sideline? Because I'm sure some people were thinking the same thing, like, Reggie, what the hell we got going on? But you got to move past it.
Yeah, you got to move past it, man. And shouts out to Reggie Fish, man. I love Reggie Fish. He was just trying to make a play.
I get it.
He was trying to make a play for the team, and it was unfortunate. The ball didn't bounce right for him. So at that point, you just got to talk to your defense. Hey, we got to come together. The game's still not over. We still got a chance. So let's play together. Let's, make a stop for the offense. Get
Yeah.
the ball back in the offense's hand.
Got a chance to, like I said, know Reggie the very next year. And, plays like that could sometimes end a player. You know what I mean? Because,
Yeah,
people on the
yeah,
outside, they don't
yeah.
understand what
Right,
it's like in those moments.
right,
Why didn't he just do get out there and you try to do the same thing?
right,
All right.
right.
It's just different. The moment's so big. But for him to be able to come back, do his thing, and be very productive, Petrino's first year, I think speaks
Correct,
volumes. And
correct,
he's not a bad
correct,
rapper, too. We used to make beats and stuff
correct,
back in the dorm room as well.
correct, correct.
So that's a little trip down memory lane with Sam Olajubutu. Don't forget, oh Lord, Ben Cleveland's in here. Ben Cleveland's something else, ain't
Big
he?
Ben, what's
Big
up,
Ben
Ben?
Cleveland. He says he called you boomstick. Apparently, all right. I got to get Ben down here. Ben, if you watching right now, find yourself down here to Oakland here in a couple of weeks. We're gonna have you on. JJ Metters is actually going to be here next week.
Awesome,
We're going to be
awesome,
catching up with
awesome,
JJ.
awesome, awesome.
But that was fun. That's your days of playing. Obviously, the game has changed so much. But even looking back at that, what do you think? This is from Valpal right now. She wants to know, what is your favorite Razorback moment of all time?
My
It
favorite
may it may
Razorback
not even
moment.
have to be on the field. Locker room stuff. Let take us there.
Yeah, my favorite Razorback moment, man, just kind of being at practice and
Mm.
locker room and just camaraderie with the team, with the guys. Hearing Coach Nutt saying these the best days of your life.
Best days of your life, man.
He
I
wasn't
swear it.
lying. And he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying, man. So that was my best Razorback moments, man. Just getting ready for the game, the whole thrill of game week, running through the A
Mm.
pregame. I mean, those are some of my best Razorback moments right there. Just being there with my brothers.
Uh, you say that, and I think what was special about things back then is you said there with my brothers. Um, do you feel like that is being missed in today's game because everybody's just in and out at any sign of conflict? Butu, it's like, all right, let me go see something else
Right,
that works
right,
better for
right,
me.
right.
It's hard to build what made those Razorback teams so special and be able to compete because we'll keep it a stack. When you're going up against Bama, Florida, Georgia, LSU, Auburn, and when it gets Texas now, OU's here,
Right,
recruiting stuff.
right.
You need guys who come here and want to stay here and build something special to compete against that. Are those days gone?
I don't think they're gone, man. You just gotta, recruiting's just gotta be that much better.
Yeah.
Recruiting's gotta be, your recruiting coordinator's gotta be times 10 now.
Mm.
He's gotta, know what's going on. He's got kind of like the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta know background, know what these guys doing at home. You gotta know if these guys love it. I
Got to
mean,
lock in,
right,
at
you're
all
right,
times.
right. So I mean, you gotta evaluate too. I think the evaluation has kind of left the game a little bit.
Yeah.
These 4 stars and 5 stars. I was a 3 star.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of progressed to, playing ball. So, kind of really doesn't matter about the stars a lot. If you can play ball, you can play ball. So,
I got Lucas Miller in. You remember Double Snowman out
Lou,
there?
what's up, Lou?
Luke saying, "Butu, tell him how it used to be." Lucas, I know for a fact after that game at Mississippi State, was that your senior year? I can't remember. He went for about 200. Had about 10 catches. Did you have another year after that? I know if you did, you would have been asking for money ASAP, or you would have been gold too. I say that. I think we were so Lucas. He was I think a senior when I got there, maybe junior. Can't remember, but that whole crew, Matt Harris, he's on. He helps us out with 4th and 5. But the cool thing about it is, I honestly think for what we built and how much fun we had together on and off the field, it would have been so hard for some of those guys to leave, even if money was thrown their way. I say that. Now, somebody throw about $200,000 my way, we may have to have a conversation. But I
Right.
feel like it would have been very difficult for guys what we were used to hanging out with. I don't know if they would have left.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think the main difference is you talk about a guy like Lucas Miller. I think he may have walked on right receiver. I mean,
Greenwood's finest.
Luke was tearing us up on scout
Oh,
team,
he was eating
man.
y'all alive.
He was eating us alive. He was. That's how he made his name.
Yeah,
Luke was eating us alive. So a guy like that, hard nosed, made his way on the scout team. To getting a scholarship, stuff like that. I don't see a lot in today's game.
yeah.
That's what kind of discourages me from, kind of discourages me today
Yeah.
about today's game.
Yeah. Lucas says we would have been in trouble if they gave us NIL back in the day. Coach Nut, hey, man, at least be in by 2 a.m. All right.
Right.
If you can't figure it out by 2, it ain't going to work for you. God, I miss that guy. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the current state of the Razorback football team. And look, my boo's showing up right now. Ebony wants to know over or under 5.5 wins. That's what Oakland has the Razorbacks at right now.
Definitely, I'm calling it right now. At least 8 wins this year. At least 8.
Time
at
out.
least 8.
Hold on, wait.
At least 8.
I'm pull your name
Pull
back
up the
up real
schedule,
quick.
baby.
Yeah, what's the schedule? You want to go through the schedule?
Man, we can. At least 8. At least 8.
Let me pull up the schedule.
Write it down.
Arkansas football.
Travis Williams. I think those guys.
I do love Coach Will, man.
Yeah, I think
he's a real deal. And
defense,
he's a guy that
Coach Wilson. I think they're gonna get it together. I think they had it together last year, so I think it's gonna be that much better this year.